Welcome to Studio X. So this is a group of 18 people, and so this group have been working on the topic of the in-between. So thinking through how these in-between spaces they can mediate the life in the city. So we took the veranda as an architecture from the tropics and from Brazil and from Rio as a starting point to think on how can we imagine this in-between conditions. So in between domestic and public, private, and the city, architecture, landscape, and etc. So over a week, they have been exploring Rio de Janeiro through a lot of site visits, through working sessions, and through a lot of lectures to try and understand how this in-between relation can be explored in at other scales, at other conditions, etc. We worked with these 18 people were split in two groups. I would like Evra and Cristina to briefly explain what was their approach about this in-between.
We tried to work with a variation of the idea of the veranda. We understand that the veranda is this place where we could learn this week about this in-between space that comes from the aristocratic house, from the farms, until this veranda that's very contemporary, very important to our body, to be related to the landscape, a place for the carioca to be relaxed, for ocio and whatsoever. And we understand that besides that, there's another kind of veranda that is an interpretation of that. It's more related to the attitude that is the puxadinho. There's things that the popular culture do actually to build their own veranda. So the veranda behave would be the puxadinho. So in these days, through the visits, we were searching for puxadinhos, searching for this attitude, searching for this movement that people provoke on things, on architecture, on space, devices, solutions, and in a way that this could inform somehow the ideas and their projects that they would do to Praça Tiradentes.
So in this group we understand the veranda as a place or stage for negotiation, a stage of place for the political activities that happen in the city. And therefore what we have done is we have investigated three elements of the theater as a backdrop. I mean, the place, the plaza as a backdrop, the plaza as a invisible line, invisible wall that separates the spectators from the actors, and also the plaza as props, the props of the plaza and the different elements and how they operate. We are very much interested, not that much in the formalization of specific projects, but in the unveiling of certain latent polemics that we believe, or the participants believe, that had to be discussed in public.
The veranda as an element in the city belongs to the tradition of the balcony. It goes from the kind of the original balcony that was devised to actually as a defensive mechanism to the balcony that in Paris was developed as a place where the bourgeoisie can look at the urban spectacle, the metropolis, the fascist balcony that actually was tuned to actually please the masses. The balcony is a balcony for celebrities. We place there in that kind of a spectacle relationship with the city, but we also understand that the veranda, different to the balcony, allows the public to get into the veranda. It's not only a domestic space, but a private space. It's also a public, it's a place in which a lot of interaction, as you will see, happen. We try to look at the veranda, at the problem of the veranda, not as an optimizational problem, but actually a place in which you can learn things that we can then apply to a broader kind of a sphere of the public, that in this case is Tiradentes Square.
The manifesto principally says we need to bring life to the square. People already work here, people should also live here. The project is Karaoke Street, the name of the street leading to the square, the main link to the metro. Without a beautiful link, the square is compromised. Karaoke Street is the street of the people, the most important street in the city. It represents a people-driven revolt against the influence of commerce affecting the social, economic, and cultural energy of the city. There's quite a strong commercial impetus by the Opportunity Bank to purchase and do whatever they wish to do in a banal way with the occupation of those buildings. And there's a very obvious resistance to that move by the people who live and get their livelihood from that street. We quite like that aggravated response.
The master plan is dead. We propose a master plan with no particular master, a cookbook with recipes that reveal the hidden, the undervalued and the unloved, a set of instructions with no prescribed outcome. The city plan is a construct based on power and control which has been overtaken by the complexity of modern living. The favelas are an organic construct, but equally have a complex set of rules which govern their development. We undertook a study of the veranda, the balcony to the city, through its three constituent parts, the proscenium, the props and the backdrop. The device traditionally mediates between the interior and the exterior, the public and the private. In this study, we uncovered representations of power, ownership, resilience and programme in both the city and the favelas. We recognise that architecture can also be used to introduce a second proscenium.
Praca Tiradentes has been cleansed of much of its culture and identity. A tight order prevails. This restrictive geometric order acts as a suppressive boundary which inhibits the desired behavior of the city. Whilst softer boundaries exist and at times defy the dominant geometry, the concentric rings of order prevail. We must disrupt this boundary and reveal the full theater of the city. We will expose, draw in, add, and subtract props to re-agitate and challenge order. A prop is not a building. A prop is not a texture. A prop is a catalyst for new behavior, and a prop is a catalyst for new experience. Hence, these are our props.
We spent time developing tools and processes capable of supporting the occupation of this field by the broadest constituencies. Tools capable of creating urban backdrops that are not constrained by physical limits or symbolic forms, but rather new conceptions of architecture and urbanism that emerge from networks of relationships.
The contemporary components that will shape our proposition must include the shadow of the silhouette, the archaeology of the trees, and the syntactical language of the Portuguese cobbles. The park's inherent ability is to respond to the city around it and to deal with both the in-between space and the expression of time. It's for the city of gods. So the production is called Space for Transcendence. Praca?
Praça Tiradentes.
Thank you. Knowledge.
Conhecimento.
Extension.
Extensão.
Repository.
Receptáculo.
Access.
Acesso.
Written.
Escrito, documentado.
Spoken.
Falado.
Stages.
Fases.
Transcendence.
Transcendência.
Recorded.
Gravado.
Accessed.
Acessado.
Learnt.
Aprendido.
And memorized.
Decorado, memorizado.
Rio is at war, and this war is between private space and public space. And we believe that the city needs to re-establish the in-between, so to find again or re-find the domesticity within the city. We've been exploring the city and trying to find these places that have a natural calm. So the places of eddy in the flow of the traffic of the city, and the place where you automatically feel some of that intimacy and some of that domesticity. These places need to be exploited as a place for self within the city, a place to create a city veranda.
The whole process is another territory of kind of negotiation, I think, because it's a negotiation between practice and academia, between intellectual and projects. And I think for us as a practice, we want to embark on a journey of increasingly investigating that space, that interrogation. And one of the key intentions of the way we've structured this, and one of the reasons why the relationship with Studio X is so beautiful, is that we wanted these exercises, these experiments to take place in a place where we weren't. So in each of the four proposed venues for these workshops, they are in cities where we do not have a presence. So we come to a place which is alien to us, unusual to us, already confronting. And then we meet with you guys and you really mess with our heads. I think it's been a fantastic week, and we really look forward to how we take this forward, because this first one is particularly an experiment. None of us really knew exactly what would happen or how it would work. And the spirit of it, and I've spoken with obviously all the people from from Woods Bagot, and I've spoken with a lot of the people who've been working with us from Studio X and colleagues.